Welcome back to another Cinema Talks video. Today, we're going to be talking about everything we know about Steve Rogers in Avengers Doomsday. So now we officially know that Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. So as you guys know, Avengers Doomsday is now being marketed as they were releasing 4 trailers to the theaters. The first one just came out and it was about Chris Evans returning as Steve Rogers. Now, the first time I saw this trailer, I wasn't totally surprised because we kind of already knew that Steve Rogers was going to return in this movie. If you guys don't know what happened in the trailer, go check out the short I made about it. We also knew that Captain America is going to return because Chris Evans got in his Captain America shape. So this is probably why they're releasing Avengers Endgame next year back in theaters, because it's a direct sequel to Avengers Doomsday. So clearly, Steve Rogers will have an important role in this movie, which I'll touch upon in a bit. But at the end of the teaser trailer, it says that Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. It doesn't say that Captain America will return in Avengers Doomsday because Sam Wilson is Captain America as of right now. And we know at the end of Captain America Brave New World, it says that Captain America will return, referring to Sam Wilson as Captain America. So Chris Evans will return in Avengers Doomsday, but he's not going to be playing Captain America. He's most likely just going to be playing Steve Rogers. So now let's talk about why Steve Rogers might be in Avengers Doomsday and what his role will be. Because I feel like his role in the movie could go anywhere. So Avengers Doomsday will be a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame, because you need to remember stuff like Captain America going back in time to return the stones, but then staying in the past with Peggy. And remember, in the Loki TV show, the TVA says that the Avengers going back in time for the stones was supposed to happen. But they didn't say anything about Steve Rogers staying in the past. So Steve staying in the past with Peggy and having a kid with her might have caused an incursion because that was not supposed to happen. A theory is that Sam Wilson's shield might have caused an incursion in the MCU timeline because that shield came from an entirely different timeline. So we're probably going to see the consequences of Steve messing with the timeline, and that is why Doctor Doom will be after him. And there are so many different characters in the MCU that has messed up the timeline, so Doctor Doom is probably after all of them, but Steve Rogers is just number 1 on his list. Another theory is that Steve Rogers will be the one to bring Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes back together. So if you guys watch Thunderbolts, you know that Sam and Bucky are no longer on speaking terms, all because of the Avengers. So we're going to get 2 Avengers teams in Avengers Doomsday, one with Bucky and one with Sam. So maybe Steve will make them join together and create this one big Avengers team with the old Avengers and the new Avengers. So with that being said, we now know that Steve Rogers will be returning in Avengers Doomsday. But the question is, did Captain America get a good ending in Avengers Endgame? Because I feel like, in my opinion, it's a little bit of both. So at the end of Endgame, Steve Rogers goes back in time and returns the stones, but stays in the past with Peggy. So I feel like Steve Rogers' ending could be both good and bad. I feel like this could be a good ending because Steve Rogers finally chooses himself over everyone else. Because for the last 100 years, he has been selfless, and now he has the right to be selfish. And his whole arc in the MCU comes full circle because he became the man out of time to the man at peace. In my personal opinion, I don't think this was selfish of Steve Rogers. I feel like he deserved to have a family with the woman he loved. And he passes down his shield to Sam Wilson, showing how his character has grown, and he finally gets to live a full life with Peggy Carter. But Captain America always shows up for others when it matters the most. The Captain America trilogy is all about Steve helping his best friend Bucky. And Steve knew Bucky way longer than he knew Peggy, and Steve and Bucky were supposed to be together till the end of the line. And up to Endgame, Steve Rogers was all about having to move on after being stuck in the ice for 75 years. He had to get adjusted to his new life after being unfrozen. So I could see how some other people believe that Steve Rogers abandoned the other Avengers just to go with Peggy. I mean, we also know that Peggy did eventually move on from Steve and have her own family. But when Steve went back in time, it erased all that. So this will cause an interesting storyline in Avengers Doomsday where Doctor Doom goes after Steve Rogers because he went back in time. So I personally think that the ending for Captain America was fine and that he deserved it a lot. So that is everything we know about Steve Rogers returning in Avengers Doomsday. So throughout the next couple of weeks, we're going to get even more trailers for Avengers Doomsday. The next trailer will be focused on Thor, and it's supposedly going to be about 1 minute and 39 seconds long. So I cannot wait to see that trailer and to see the future trailers after that. Let me know what you guys thought about the Steve Rogers Avengers Doomsday trailer. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.